All right, everybody, please welcome Sarah Palin. Nice to see you.
Hey, thanks so much. So glad to be here.
As we get to the end of 2008, look back at your year.
Pretty amazing year. Pretty amazing year. Yeah, I mean, amazing enough. A couple of personal things that have happened to me. You know, having a baby and my son going off to war in Iraq, my oldest son, and just a lot of things personally that have happened. And then, then you throw in there also the run for Vice President of the United States of America. That thing too. It's been a great year.
It's highs and lows, I would imagine, though.
Yeah, a bit of a roller coaster there, but overall, a wonderful, blessed year.
I find it fascinating when somebody is in a position like that, vice president or any senior political role, there is a tendency to forget, because you become a machine when you have to go through the whole process, that you're a human being trying to navigate those waters. Was it a difficult process?
You know, it was so busy that I didn't have a whole lot of time to worry about any of the difficulties, really. It was just getting from point A to point B every day, getting that message out about what it is that John McCain and I were representing there with free enterprise and a pro-development agenda that we want for America. And just because of the logistics and how busy it was, never had time to worry about maybe how difficult some of the aspects were.
How did you get to be a vice presidential candidate?
Well, John McCain knew of me as a governor and as a reformer, having come into the state of Alaska and kind of taken on the good old boys and wanting to end abuses here in our government and self-dealing and corruption. And John McCain was looking for a partner on his ticket that had that maverick streak also, and an independent streak in terms of partisanship, not letting obsessive partisanship get in the way of just making good decisions for the people whom would be served. So he asked me if I would run with them. Happy to do it, and we had a great time.
But you'd met him once, right? So I'm curious, how does the process work? Did you get a phone call? Was it late at night?
Got a phone call, right. Had met him at a Governors Association meeting many months prior. He had been kind of following the progress there in Alaska over those months, and then gave me a call and asked if I would be interested. And we needed to meet face-to-face again, of course, and they had done a heck of a lot of homework, a lot of vetting of me, my positions, my convictions, my policies in the state of Alaska and my career, and met him face-to-face and talked about it and knew that we would be a good fit together.
But I imagine for you it must be a bit of a challenge, because it's famously reported, and you know that a lot of people in his camp, for lack of a better phrase, almost started to throw you under the bus afterwards.
Well, I heard rumors of that, and I don't know if it was a lot of people or if it was one, because nobody's ever come up with any names. So, you know, anybody who would, I think, be engaged in kind of some pettiness and trying to throw somebody under the bus, I don't think it's even worthy of commenting on if they don't want to put their name to their criticism or comments.
Yeah, we had a former conservative prime minister on our show, Joe Clark, and he had talked about when he had lost his election that he thought he would be fine and he would move on with public service, and a couple of months later he realized he had lost his voice. And it turns out it was depression-induced, and there was this moment of real change in his life.
Wow.
He didn't even know it was coming. But every leading politician we have on our show, they talk about when they lose, they do go into a dark place. Did you have that?
Well, I've lost before. I ran for lieutenant governor of Alaska 6 years ago,
this
and I
is vice
lost.
president, though.
It is, but you know, I'm thankful for some of the training grounds that I've already had. And you know, my be-all, end-all is not politics. In fact, sometimes I question, why in the world am I in politics? You know, is there another venue where I can help affect positive change in people's lives, or is it just going to be politics? Losing an election, to me, it doesn't mean losing my way. And my way is doing all that I can with the gifts, the talents that God has given me, putting those to good use to make other people's lives better. That's what I'm wired to do. And I don't believe that I will reach a point of depression because of a loss of an election. Politics, election, that's not my be-all, end-all.
The problem I find with conventions, or even on a hustings, any kind of campaign stop on either side, there are extreme members of each party. Yeah. And I noticed that some of your campaigns, when you were on stage, there was this kind of intensity that brewed. And a lot of people, actually credible threats, they said, to Obama's life were increased after those really passionate Republican moments. And I wonder, for you on stage, when you look back and heard some of the things being hurled back, could you relate to the people you were talking to at that point?
Well,
there's a lot of negativity that came up at your campaign.
Now, here again, we heard rumors of that. But
well, you can hear it on the tape. You can see some of the people. I'm not saying you weren't doing it, but I'm saying it within the audience.
I probably felt the same way that Biden and Obama felt when in their rallies and any kind of inciting of strong emotion on their camp would be made manifest, say, in the posters that were held up at their rallies, or there were some pretty crude examples of T-shirts that were worn by folks supporting that ticket that really showed some, I guess, disrespect for the fact that a woman was on the other ticket. So that was mutual. I don't blame Obama and Biden, and people didn't.
No,
they shouldn't blame me or McCain either.
How was this process like for your family?
It was pretty neat for the family because it was a family event. You know, it was a family effort here. Some of the I categorize them as unfair shots taken at my kids through the media. I thought that was ridiculous because remember President-elect Obama, he had said in the campaign, he said, hey, his wife's off limits. Nobody's touched his wife. So I naively assumed, well, you know, no double standard here, right? I'm sure that my husband then or my kids would be off limits if the other camp got to call that, but that didn't happen. And unfair shots were taken at my kids, and that kind of disgusted me. But that we knew that even the shots that we were taking and that our campaign was taking, we knew that, you know, it was nothing. Those are words hurled. That's nothing compared to the people taking real shots that harm them in our country, those who are worried about losing their job or perhaps have lost somebody in the war zone and maybe not being able to afford health care for their kids. Those are the real shots that matter. So we kept it all in perspective.